Always gotta kind of worry. Is there like psychology behind calling it a delay in using abilities, a cooldown in using your abilities, or a recharge on using your abilities? Morning. It's it like started sprinkling in the last 10 minutes because when I looked outside, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a fairly nice day today. Just really gray. And then like as we were leaving the house, I was like, oh, it started sprinkling. I'm gonna put on a light jacket. I was just like thinking about that this morning. You're new. I've never seen you before. A sneasel. I've never seen a sneasel before. But because, I mean, I was thinking about it this morning because basically they're all the same thing. Whether, you know, if you cast Pyroblast and you have 6 seconds until you can do anything with it, most games call it a cooldown, which makes a little bit of sense because that imbues the player with a little bit of power, that their ability is significantly powerful, that they have to like, versus like, boom, and then you have to wait for a recharge. Now, Aaron brought up a fair point this morning.
You have an ability that has charges, it is called a recharge.
Yes.
Instead of a cooldown.
Yes.
At least in WoW.
Yes. Like with my evocation, now that I have the Shard of the Exeter, Gravity Spiral, one of those two legendaries.
Gravity Spiral.
Yeah. No, it's Shard of the Exeter because I keep thinking about taking it off because Gravity Spiral is the time warp one. No, I don't. Regardless, I have one that doesn't allow. Anyways, it gives my evocation a second charge. I basically I use evocation and then I go into my 3 or minute and a half recharge, but I still have another charge to use. So in WoW, you have a very visible, just a glowing line that moves around your ability rather than a decreasing shadow. In that case, but I was thinking about that with like Heroes of the Storm, and they all call them cooldown. And I understand, cross Blizzard products, it seems a little inconsistent in Star Trek Online. Sometimes they'll say a recharge, sometimes they'll say a cooldown. And if it's a weapon recharge, but an ability cooldown.
Which is internally consistent and makes a certain amount of sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's still, and then there was even one where, like, even in the patch notes, they were like, there is a significant delay after firing it for the first time before you can fire it again. That just says it's a 2-minute cooldown or recharge, but it's just how they word things makes me kind of think about the psychology that a player would think about such an action. And if I was a raid leader and I said, okay, everybody, pop your cooldowns. What the hell does that mean? That means use your long ones. Or your medium to long ones. Pop your cooldowns, which means fire everything!
More dots.
More dots! So that's basically, like, I know a few of you actually play the games that I do, so you kind of understand this, but who plays other games? Like, well, what is it, or what do they call in, if they have it, in Star Trek Timelines?
They don't call it anything, as far as I know.
It's very, it's duty officers,
yeah,
is what that's mostly, so there's not really a...
And I mean, there are space battles where you have things you can click, but it's just wait until it's ready.
So it's it would be called a delay. Wait until it's ready.
Yeah.
So, and I remember they weren't called that before. There was, like when I was playing Star Trek Final Unity, I had, it's just that there's such a weird thing for calling it different things. And I was like, what's the psychology behind it? You know, have there been psychological studies? Probably.
Yeah.
It's probably not done anything official, but over the years, at least with Blizzard, they've looked, and it just makes me think that someone did a little bit of a study over time, like with, you know, the 10, 15 years Blizzard's been around. We'll just go with World of Warcraft, so like 10. So, I mean, do you know any other games that they would have been called slightly something different?
I can't think of what they're called in SWATer.
Star Wars, The Old Republic.
Yeah.
People say SWATer, but if you actually listen to the people that actually play it, it's SWTOR. I spit on the camera. And so, but yeah, what it is they call, like, I've heard Brad say it and he'll say SWTOR. Really, like, if I listen to it, it's SWTOR. It's not SWATer.
Yeah.
Even though most people pretty much say that because they just things together.
And SWTOR makes sense from the words point of view, but not from the pronunciation point of view.
But it's like, what are they just? Okay, I know it's another.
It's been a long time, so I don't know.
I was going to change over. What are they called in Diablo? Probably same thing with cooldowns.
Yeah.
CDs.
Compact disc.
Shut up. We're not talking about her. So, how'd your sleep thingy go?
I feel like they push the CPAP machines, and I'm not sure why.
There's a lot of the paranoia about the American medical system, and at least the prescription system, and it just makes me think that they get a kickback. Even though it might not even be true, might not even be anywhere close to true, and they may actually honestly be trying to help. But
he said, we have several options for you.
yeah, he chose the CPAP machine, probably because it's the easiest and the most reliable, to an extent. But
I had to prompt him to hear any of the others, though.
yeah, that's true. The other ones were, which I kept looking to, because my angle, it was over his shoulder. I could see the thing.
A dental appliance.
Yeah.
Putting something on my back so that I don't roll onto my back.
Yeah, which, like I said, your little nap yesterday worked really well because you were on your face the entire time.
Yeah, and I woke up feeling great.
Yeah. And this morning was a little bit funky, but then again, you had a nap, and then we're up, and then I don't know when you came to bed.
Around midnight.
Oh boy. But you had a nap, so that wasn't that bad. But then you had trouble getting up this morning, and I'm not sure if that's because of the nap or if you were on your back. But
the dental appliance is just a thing you put in your mouth at night, and it makes it so that my jaw won't when I'm sleeping.
yeah, it's hard for me.
How it works.
How the dental appliance works?
Yeah.
It literally, like, think of like my mouth guard for football, but goes both ways. So it basically latches onto your teeth at the same time and holds them right there.
I wonder if they can combine that with Invisalign.
Want to get too much involved in it.
Yeah.
But I noticed it had like screws on the side, so you could like.
Yeah.
It looked really. I mean, I understand why it's expensive and whatnot. So I'll pull out the red backpack from underneath the bed.
See if it has the cross strap.
Well, that's just so that you don't pull it off in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Because you're not very dexterous, you may not be able to undo it, and you're not very squirmy, so you wouldn't be able to squirm out of that like I would.
I've got the shell, I guess, for camel tack.
I don't know if a football will fit in it though. I mean, we could put other things in there. I know, like clothing, significant clothing though. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Ding a ding a ding a ding.
Ding a ding. Bye.
So I'm putting this at the end, just in case. I'm downloading the creator update, and I'm unsure as to how this is going to affect my computer. It's at 88% currently, and it is almost 8 o'clock. So, if this video is delayed more than usual, it's because my computer went all screwy and I wasn't able to use Adobe pretty effectively.